Okay, so yesterday we went through all this. Yeah. Any questions from yesterday? So we went through MBR. Okay, we're gonna complete this user administration today. Okay. So when you go through practice, if you get stuck over here, let me know what is the problem. Then I'll fix it. It looks this one is like crumbled up here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this up a little bit so that it will be easier for you to read. Okay. Okay. So we did creating a user from the file. Okay. Okay. So we did this. We created a group ID. We added a group named develop, and then we created a user one, a Zafar one, I think, right? The password file, it stores the user information. It stores what is the user information. Contrary to what it says password. It kind of sounds like you're supposed to be saving password, but it's not. You're saving. Um, okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, now this party window, does it look good enough, or should I make it bigger? The fonts. I think it's a little small here. I'm going to make it a little bigger so that when you're playing the recording, you could see it better. Yeah, I thought it's 10. Yeah, yep. I need 12. Okay. Okay. Uh, so we use this command and created a user Yahoo, and there was no password set. So we went into shadow, and then we verified no password was set in there. Then we set the password, and we verified there's a password in there. Okay. So this is the password up until here. That's a password there. All right, so let's move on along. So the next we have in here is, it says create user from a file. Okay, so what you could do is you could go in there and copy another user information in there, and then based on that you could just type the user information manually. All you're doing that in this password file. What you're doing is simply you're using a VI editor to perform that action here. So let me go in there. Um, who am I? So you have to be root for you to be able to do this. So what are you going to do? vi/etc/password. So I'm not using cat, I'm using vi. Vi means you would have an option to edit it. So you go all the way down, and then I have this user Yahoo, right? So I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste it here. All of a sudden there is a second line in here with the name user Yahoo. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to edit it The reason I'm doing this is because the new user is going to be almost would have a similar information here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a username Zach1, and then he's going to belong to the group 2 101002. That's the group name he's going to belong to. And then, oh no, this is not the group name. This one is a user UID. So we could change that. And then this part is group ID. So GID, it's 1000. So we're gonna leave it as Yaqub, and then he's gonna belong to the same developer group. Okay. And then the only thing we have to change is we have to change Zach1. Okay. And everything is been bash and everything. Okay, let me go ahead and save this and exit out of it. So let me cat, and we'll make sure the whatever we did saving is there. So you see in here that we edited this file here, very important file. Nobody has access to it, only the root has access to it, etc password. So if we run that previous command here, if we have one of these previous commands in here, ID, when we type ID root, it will give you all this information here when we use the command to create user add. So, but now what we have did is we have manually created it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna type ID Zach1, and it should tell us the UID, the GID, the groups. Okay. So you could imagine how easy this is. Just a strike of free few keystrokes, you are able to perform a big task here. And then let's go ahead and go into the shadow. If we go into the shadow file, there shouldn't be any password in there for Zach1. So cat /etc/shadow. Okay, and there is no password for Yahoo. I mean, there is one, but there is nothing for Zach. So in here, what this I did here previously here is I just simply copy this line here and paste it here and then just name it differently. So I'm gonna go VI, go all the way down. Okay. So, and then I'm gonna name delete it and then insert ZAK1. Okay, everything else remain the same here, but the system allows you to do that. Okay, let me X out of it, save and exit, and then let me clear this, and then let me switch as, when you type SU, SU means switch user, and then I'm gonna who can I switch it to? We created user Chris, but he doesn't have. Okay, let me cat it though first. Okay, you do see this. The user Chris is not there. User Bashar. So we're gonna switch out user Yaqub. Okay, let me clear this and let me CD. And then what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna SU to Zach1. What it's gonna do is gonna ask the password. Since we copied everything, every credential from Yaqub, is gonna we're gonna try to enter the password Yaqub and see if it's gonna work. Okay. So what happened here was, so it did accept it, but it says the home directory is Yaqub. So let's see who are we as. who am I? But the user you say is who am I is Zach1. What happened here is that we did copied all the credentialer, but the default directory is going to as Yahoo, because what we forgot to do is we forgot to do or create the directory manually. So let me exit out of here, and then let me exit out of here, and let me be as root, and then I'm going to follow this mkdir/home/Zach1. So what happens? What directory slash home keeps? Home keeps the directory for all the users. So we see the directory for Zafar, Yahoo, user1, Chris, and all, but we don't see a directory for Zach1. So what we should have done here is before switching it to as user, we should have used created the directory here. So I'm going to do mkdir and then /home/Zach1. So being in the same directory, I'm still using /home/Zach1. So what kind of path is this? Can somebody tell me what kind of path is this? This is an absolute path. Okay, so even though our instruction is saying /home/Zach1, since we're already in the home directory, we don't have to type this part here, okay? So I type mkdir Zach1, okay? And then let's see who's the owner of Zach1. Okay, mkdir. Where did it go? What was the command we typed? mkdir Zach1. So we did create mkdir/home/Zach1 and manually create the user directory, but it's not here. Why is it not showing up here? Let me try running this command here and see if it's going to work. mkdir/home/Zak1. Cannot create a directory. Directory file exist. Okay, ls-al. Okay, let me exit out of here. Oops, I didn't mean to exit totally, but change settings, appearance. Okay. Okay, this is something new to me. So let's go ahead and continue on with this and see if he's going to bring it back. And let's see here. I'm going to type chown Zach1 : and then I'm going to give the name develop /home/Zach1. So what we are doing here is this is a new concept here. We are giving chown, it's a command. What chown means is we are giving the ownership. Okay, I'm pretty sure the previous owner was root, but we are changing the ownership to Zach1, and then the group name to develop, and what the directory we are giving. Oh, over here, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, the Zach1 is all over here all along. I'm colorblind here a little bit, so I was thinking looking in here and then I was getting worried here. So you could see here that for Zafar, let's take this example here. For Yahoo, the ch ownership is Yahoo, and then the group ownership is develop, and then this is the name of the directory Yahoo. Okay. So right now for Zach1, the ownership and the group ownership is the same thing. So what we're doing here is we are changing the ownership ch own, and then the command we're going to give is the first command is going to be Zach1. So this will change to Zach1 as a owner of the file. Okay, and then develop is going to change from root to develop here the moment we hit enter here. Okay, ls -l, and see, I wasn't even lying, and the username and then the group name has to indeed change to match Yakub. Okay, so what we need to do is next command is we have to change the ownership here. Bashar, you know all about ownerships here. What is 700 means? Chmod 700 slash home slash Zach1. By default, the home directories are 700. If you could see, all these are 700. Since we are creating it manually, this is set to 755. Okay, but we're gonna change it to 700. What is the 700? Bashar, you there? Anybody? What is 700 permissions are gonna be? Hello, can you guys hear me? Somebody?
Yeah, I hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Read, write, execute.
700? Good. Is it read, write, execute for who?
The user.
Okay, great. What about the others? Nothing, right? Yeah, exactly. Read, write, execute. This part is for the user, and he got a full authority over there. Who got a full authority? The user Zach. And let me hit enter. Okay. All right. So we are not done yet. So let's go ahead and switch to user. su Zach1, and then pwd ls-l. Okay, let me do this. Clear this pwd. So this time around, it did recognize the home directory for Zach. But look at it, look at it here. You know, it kind of looks weird here, right? I mean, it's looks like kind of a lot of things are missing in here. The reason a lot of things are missing in here is there is a default directory called skel. It copies your essential. It copies the essential hidden scripts which are needed for your directory to be working. So let me do pwd, then ls-al. So this directory is completely blank. What's happening in this directory? This directory is completely blank. For us to be able to get this shell like this in the picture here, let me exit here. Okay, do you see how this thing looks nice here? It tells you the username, and then it tells you add Red Hat, and it tells you which directory you are in. It wasn't telling you over here. It's just giving you the bash prompt. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy some essential files, these are default essential files from this directory etc/skel, and then we're gonna throw that in here. So let's figure out what this etc/skel really means is. Okay, let me just copy it. If you get stuck wherever, your best friend is Google. I haven't came here on a while, so I don't know what skel is. So what you're gonna do is etc/skel, and then you would find a lot of articles here. And you go in here. Let's see here. So normally this scale is nothing but is your profile. It's your user profile. So when you create Windows, all these files are missing here. We have only two files here, two directories here, which are like going back and forth. But it needs essential, these are like essential default directories that you need. The the ones you really need is bash logout, bash profile, bash rc. And these are your profile information. It keeps your profile information here. And it has some defaults set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. So we're going to use the cp command /etc/scal /.b and then asterisk. Let's go ahead and go into the scal directory and see what's in there /etc/skel. Okay, when we do a simple ls, it doesn't have anything, but we have some hidden files in there. And what we're going to do is these are some of the essential hidden files that it needs for your login prompt to be working correctly and looks nice. And these are some of these are some of the essential things you really need here. So these are like system maintained directories, but when you create a user using a user add information, you just have created these are by default, but once you created manually, it doesn't copy those things over. And also it's a good practice here that the reason I showed you this copying is to go deep into and see what this each profile is doing. Okay, let's move on. Clear this, and then I'm going to use this command. I'm on number 8. I'm going to use the command cp/etc/scal and then .b. I'm going to copy everything that's starting with .b, because what I'm saying here is the one that is starting with .b, .bash, .bash rc, .bash profile. These are the essential ones. You may or may not need these ones. Okay, so then I'm telling you where to copy. I'm telling you to copy to home, Zach1. Okay, I hit enter. All right, now let me go ahead and exit, not exit, just switch as Zach. Okay, and then let's do, oh, okay, you could automatically see that how this profile, this login prompt looks nice and clean here. Now it's telling you who the user is, and then it's telling you the host name. And then whenever you have a tilde, that means that's your home directory. A tilde is your home directory. Okay, let me show you where the tilde is on your keyboard. This is tilde here, right here. To bring the tilde, you have to hold a shift and then press the key right on the right side of the escape. So that's a tilde, squiggly. It's called tilde. So let's see, whenever you have your tilde here, that means that's your home directory. Indeed it is. So if we go into directory cd home, so it will tell you which directory you are in. But if you are in here, when you have like a squiggly line, tilde, that means you are in your home directory. Okay, and then the other thing I want to point out is when you have a prompt as a $sign, that means you are a regular user. And if you have a prompt as a hash, like a £, the hash over here, that means that looking at only this information, you could tell this is a root user. Okay, let's switch to Yahoo. And then, okay, so even we switch to Yahoo, and then there is a $sign here. Why? Because this is not a root user, this is a regular user, and this is his home directory. You could type pwd, and then there you go, that's his home directory. So this symbolizes the home directory for any user, including root. And then the dollar symbolizes the regular user. And the hash sign symbolizes the root user. Okay, let's switch to root and let's see. Okay, see, I switched to root, and then it's telling the who's the username root, and then this is the red hat. It may have the longer name for the host name, but it just give you a little indication there to which host you are logged into. Okay, and then you have a tilde here, that means this is your home directory, and when you have a hash, that means this is your root user. Okay, any questions? Okay, no questions means we're gonna move on. Okay, so what it seems like here is we could customize the skill directory here. Okay, so let's see if I could do it for Zach1. Okay, so let me go ahead and try to edit this file and see what comes up. Vi. Okay, in here it says that's the path export. Okay, let me go in here, and then I'm gonna put okay. Okay, it says you could edit, customize the scale directory README. So let me go ahead and go in there here. Uh, Let me switch as root. cd/etc scale. Okay, it says we could put a README in here. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, let me exit here. Exit, exit. And let me try to go back in there. Root. Okay, no. So let's see here. I think I'm missing a step here. So let's do a Google and see customize bash prompt message. Okay, to display date in your username host in the bash, you're gonna have to do this. So let's go here. Okay, so it's telling bash rc su zac1 vi dot bash rc. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this here. Oh no, it's a bad idea. So let's see here. What I'm trying to see is okay, how to display welcome message in Unix. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this, and then I'm gonna put that in here somewhere, and then I'm gonna save it. Okay, so it's saying it's read only, so we have to change the permission first. Okay, ls hyphen al dot bash. So the permissions is for the owner, it's root. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the ownership to zac1 ch own zac1, then group permission to zac1 too, and then we see dash bash rc. Okay, I don't know why it's not permitted here. Okay, what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and change the read write access first, chmod, and then we're gonna give 755, no, 7744 to zac1. Okay, it may not do it, so you have to do it as root. Let's see, let me switch as Yahoo first. ls-al So what I'm going to do is here we don't have too much problem here because the other one we created manually. So read write access for bash rc, Yahoo has it. So we're going to do vi then bash rc. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this here and then go down. So let me exit and then let me go back in there. Okay. Did you see something in there? When I switch to user, it gave you a message in here. So similarly, what you could do is you could manipulate this file here. You could manipulate this file and then no, not this one. You got to be careful what directory you are in, okay? So you could come here and then what you could do is you could like put like a little history here. Echo this username belongs to, then echo please do not use this if you are not Yakub. Okay, save and exit. Let me get out of it and get back in here. Let me get back in here. There you go. Whenever you come in here, that the message we put it in there in this bash.rc, it will display it for you. What you could do is you could make this a beneficial for you. You could put like a little login notes in here. Like if you're logging into some servers periodically, you could put some passwords in here and then things like that. So I mean, you could go on and go on and on. You could have like a lot of lines in here. That way, whenever you log in, it will remind you. Like maybe like whenever you log in, it will remind you like you have to like punch in and punch out your time card and things like that. You could trigger a lot of things in here. Okay, since it's a VI file, you could put whatever you want in there. Does it make sense here? What you're doing in essence is you're just modifying your and customizing your profile here. And there's a lot of things you could do here. I normally don't do any customization, but what you could do is you could like make colors and things like that. So the moment you log in, your profile changes, and if you have like a color setup, the background color setup, it will change it for you. Let's see if I could change the color here. For color. Okay, how to customize? Okay, we're back to here. Okay, you got to be careful. Yeah, it's bringing up for anything else. You type Red Hat Enterprise Linux 6. That's what we're working on. So it will give you the results for that. Okay, TechMint is showing something good. Okay, customize. If you type /u, it will give you username /h host name characters. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I kind of like this one here. So no, not here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and delete this. And then I kind of like this here, so let's see if it's gonna work. And then U is for username, H is for host name, W is for base name, and then prompt. So let's see here, let's type this. PS1 equal. Okay, let's see what this is gonna do. Okay, I gave the wrong password. Okay, didn't do anything. What is supposed to be doing? For example, PS1 will cause the prompt to appear in yellow. Okay, it's already doing that. Okay, let me. जी आ रहा हूँ. Thank you. Okay, switch user Yahoo. Okay, now you can see here, right? You know how your prompt is. I mean, to me, I really don't like it. I like it nice and simple here. But for the demonstration process purpose, what I'm saying here is you could go into this file here, and then you could have your own messages coming up the moment you log in, and then you could have set up reminders and things like that in here. Okay, so that's what this is bash rc is for. But if you don't really care about those, what you really need is you really need this bash rc and two or three of those. A total of three files here. You need these three essential files for you to be working. We look at that. I don't like this, but let me exit. Okay. So let's see here. If I log in directly with username Yahoo, see now, but it won't do it for if you log in as Zafar or root. Okay. Any questions? Okay, no questions. So let's move along. And what is this saying here? Folder assigned to group. create a group operations, group ID 1500, then VI etc group, and then ID Zach. Okay. So now what we're doing here is this things is getting deeper in here. What it's doing here is you could do or make like multiple groups. I mean, assign multiple users just just using like a single operation. Okay. So let's see here. Single user can be in multiple groups. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. So what this is when you go on to a job and then you are in a, for example, this user, Zach, he was in a different group, right? He was in operate develop group. What he could do is he doesn't have to be in one group. He could be in the multiple groups. Okay. So how is that going to affect? So what are we going to do is we're going to create a new group, group add -g. Then we're going to give the group name 1500. I mean, you could do whatever you want. I mean, I just came up here. Group ID 1500 and then operations. So the group name is operations. And then let's go ahead and see if that group is created. Where do you go see if the group is there or not? etc/groups. And then let's go on the bottom here and you see there is a group name operations. The one we created earlier, develop, is there too. So what we're going to do is ID Zach 1 and Zach 1, he is in a group develop. Okay. I'm sorry, over here, groups. The groups he belongs to is develop only. What we could do is we could add him to another group. Okay. So go ahead and let's do ID Yaqub. So Yaqub is only in the group 1000, which is the same as Zach. So what we could do is I could do vi/etc/group, and then I go all the way down here, and then in here, over here, I'm gonna add Zach. Okay, Zach 1. I'm gonna save and exit. Now I do ID Zach 1, and then you see that the group, the ID Zach, the user Zach, he is in group develop, and at the same time he is in a group operations. Now I want to give that to Yaqub too. So simply go in here and then go all the way to bottom. Okay, go all the way bottom here and then go here and then just put Yaqub. ID Yaqub. Okay, and you see, oh, okay, what happened? Did I misspell? ID operations. Why? So I did give Yaqub, and then operations Yahoo. Okay, let me try giving in the comma here. I don't think comma works here, but we'll see. There you go. ID Zach1. Now you see that by manually editing this file here, you could add the user's group name to it. Okay, there's a lot of manipulation you could do here. Give me one moment here. Let me eat my breakfast. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
all right, good. Thank you. Okay, now it says folder assigned to a group. Okay, now we are kind of getting this deep here. So what happens here is, let's see here. So what we did is we have this group here, right? We made one group here. The little circle represent a group, and we made one group here called develop, and another group called operations. So what happens is, what we just did is we put, for example, Zach was already in one group, and then Yahoo was already in one group. Then we created another group and we added him into the another group here. So he's a member of two groups now. Okay, so if we add any policies to those group, that policies or access to that group, the user, whoever is in that group, will have the access to the resources. So let's see here what this is showing. Okay, so you get the idea, right? In one group, you belong to one group, and then at the same time, you could belong to another group. A good example would be uh, you if you're going to it's like if you're going to two schools at the same time. If you're going to like College of DuPage, and then you're going to Harper College at the same time, you belong to College of DuPage, and then you belong to Harper College. Okay, that's what this group is. Okay, group folder. Okay, so the group folder is just like a folder here, and anything a group, say Zafar and Yahoo is in this group. If I create a file in this folder, and then the Yahoo is also a user of this group, he would have access to that group. He would have access to the files in that folder. As long as he is a member of that group folder, he has access to it. So like in accounting, just because you are an accountant, that doesn't mean you'll be working like everything accounting. You would have like bills payable, then you have account receivable and all that. So each accountant will be different. But if they have like a common group which is called finance, then they all go in there, and then they have access to them. So you get the idea. This is not something new. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a directory, and then it's a assigned folder, and then we're going to make it as a group folder. Okay, so let me make a directory. I'm going to make it under root. By the way, what is this forward slash means? Forward slash means it's a root directory, and then the data directory is sitting under root directory. So I make a directory called data, and then I do ls hyphen ld. No, let me clear this. ls hyphen ld slash data. So what we are doing this here is we're looking at the permissions of the folder name data. So right now this data is the owner of the folder data is root. UID is root and GID is root2. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the group and then ownership too. If we are we changing the ownership? Okay, no, we are not. So what we're doing is we are modifying the group ch plus w data. So the command is chmod, and then we're going to change the group and then assign it to data. Okay, and then I think there is a, I'm sorry, I should have done number 4 first. CHGRP. CHGRP stands for change group. And then I'm changing the group operations. I'm changing the group operations for which directory? Data. So I'm changing the data directory group to operations. Okay, and then let's do ls-ld data. Okay, there you go. So we haven't changed the ownership yet, but what we did was we left the ownership. If we want, we could change that too, but we haven't changed that. But we changed the operations here. Above the group was root. Now the group is operations. Anybody in that group operations has access to directory data. Okay, so let's see who's in the group operations. How are you gonna see cat etc group? And then you could see the group operations. The members are Zach1 and Yahoo. Okay, it's simple as that. And then let's see here, chmod. Now the users in operation group has write access. So I jumped the gun, but I want to explain this. When I run this command here, I'm changing the ownership. Chmod is the ownership for data, and then G stands for group, and then I'm accessing the write permissions to the group. Okay, did you get it? So let's go ahead and run this command here again. Then you could take a look here. The read write, there is a read write access to the owner, and then there is a read write execute access to the group and to the user. So, but if the regular user has this, but if he belongs to the group, then he have these rights. Let's go and take a look. You could see here the previous read write access was only for group only read and execute and read and execute. There was not W there. So when we gave this command W in the middle, we gave this command W, so that gives the write access to group. G plus W and then the data. So now the data has like read write access. I'm sorry, the group has read write access and execute too. Okay, and let's see what is next. So if you switch as user, switch as Zach1, and then you go into /data and then ls. Okay, let's create some files here. Touch file. I want to give squiggly. You remember this? It creates like about 10 files simultaneously. Okay, now look at the permissions here. The permissions is the owner is Zach, but the group is develop on all these files here. So let me switch to Yaqub. Look at that, it remembers that your profile. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into data, and then I'm going to do ls-l, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to remove these files here. So since even though Yahoo didn't created these files, since he belonged to that group Yahoo develop, he's able to delete the files here. He's only able to delete the files in this folder because that folder has a group and the same group that Yahoo belongs to. Hmm. It's kind of getting stuck there. Root. Okay. Any questions? Okay, good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on set GID and set UID. Okay, what this is like a special permission set for directories. So let's see ls hyphen ld slash data. So what you have here is this directory it says is this directory it says over here it says D, but there are some special permissions you could set for the directory that will manage your groups. So over here it says here when the set GID is set, group ID is set. Whenever user creates the file and directories inside the set GID configured folder, it will inherit the group ownership from the parent directory. Okay, so we already demonstrated here that if a user is creating whenever a user creates a file and directories inside the file folder which is set with the set GID configured folder, okay, it will inherit the group ownership from the parent directory. Let's take a look here what it means. Okay, the group ownership of the data is not retroactive. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into cd data, and then we're gonna create some files in here. Touch file. So I created 10 files here, right? Okay, I think it's a bad example here. Let me just remove this. I'm gonna open another window, new, new session, duplicate session. So I'm gonna log in as Zach1. So I'm gonna go in here, data, and then I'm gonna create a files. I'm gonna create files here. Touch file 110. Okay, you see how the files is created by Zach, but the group ownership is developed here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna okay, over here he's showing something new. So okay, so what we're gonna do is mkdir/project. We're gonna create a new folder name project. and then he's also adding group, group add manager. Okay, and then I'm on number 6 here. I'm on chmod g+s project. So what I'm doing is I'm changing the I'm change I'm changing this. Okay, hold on. Before that, ls-ld project. Okay, you see this permissions here is going to change here. So what we're going to type is chmod, and then we granting the group as sticky bit. When we type s, this means we are setting as a set uid, set gid. I'm sorry, set gid, and then we type slash s, I mean plus s, then project. Okay, let's go ahead and go. And then over here there is a special permission here for users. So there is a special permission here for a user s. So what this is designed for is, if the user, no matter where he is, if he accidentally creates a file in here, that file is a kind of protected, because that file may be sensitive here. So it's not going to belong. We're going to switch to Zach and then see if we try to create a file in here. But normally what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to create a file and then with a name project in there. But we'll see if he's going to do that. So we go to cd/project. So let's see, let's create a file, touch x. Add group. Okay, this will mkdir project group add managers. chmod g+w project. Okay, let's see if he's able to create. Cannot touch, permission denied. Change, copy, duplicate. Okay, I think we have to continue on to understand. We'll come back to this here. Okay, So let's continue on here, and it says here set user ID. So is it using the same as project here? Okay, so SUUID is used for the files for the execution permission. Okay, I have to explain this to you. It inherits the owner's execute permissions, example password file. The regular user does not have permissions, but still can update their password using the password file execution. Okay, let's go into this folder, cd slash etc slash password. Not go in there, but ls hyphen l. Okay, so okay, so this what I'm going to explain this is really critical here. So set UID, what this is happening here is, see this file here, this is an execution file. uh, okay, okay, what this is this file is a password script. So whenever you type password Yakub, okay, so when you're a regular user and when you're trying to change the password, uh, trying to change your password, you use this file password PASSDW or Yakub. Where is this file sitting? This file is over here. So if you look at this here, permissions here, this is, and look at the owner here. For this specific file, the owner which is root, he has read, write, and S is set as sticky bit. But look at the user. The user has only read and execute, and then other has only read and execute. But how come when you run the password file, the password file gets updated? So if you're like a regular user, so there is no password set for uh, I'm sorry, the shadow file here. Let's see here. Has been password. Okay, so I think I misspoke over here. This is a wrong example. Let's do which. Okay, you see here Yahoo, or like here, if you're like a regular user, when you change the password or you type the password name, it will write to this file here, right? But let's go ahead and look at the permissions here. Okay, the permissions for the shadow file is only read and write, and that is only for root. Okay, but let's go ahead and take a look here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so what this is password file is doing is, this is a command, passwd, which, okay, so what's happening is when you type the command password, let me cd out of it, and then I'm a regular user, right? Zach is a regular user, he's nothing special, he doesn't have root permissions here. But what he's doing, he want to change the password, right? So what he do is he type the file name password. I mean, the command and the file are the same thing, passwd. Okay, and then he's been asked to change the password, to provide a new password. Okay. Okay, let's try it. Password 1. Okay, it's forcing me to change the password to something else. So UAC221, UAC221. Okay, over here it says all the authentication tokens are successful. So when I'm about to change the password, I'm typing the command password. Okay, so this is where this file is running from, password. So let's take a look at the permissions for this password file. Okay, the permissions for this password file is, which a regular user is using, is for root, who is the owner. He has read, write, and execute. But there is something extra in here which has S in here. That means we are setting up as a set UID. So what that means is that when it has like S here, if I could highlight here, you could see S in there, right? So if S is there instead of X, that means a user is allowed to use this as an execute, and it will have like almost as much rights as a root user. So what this file is doing is it's updating this file. It's updating the password file. I'm sorry, the shadow file. The commands in this password file is executing a script that will help you create a new password, but it's writing that to the shadow file. Okay, permission denied. So su root. Okay, so let's cat this out. Okay, now the permission was denied even to read for the regular user. But as a regular user, I was able to update this file here. How come I'm able to do that? If I'm a regular user, I can't even read it, but I am able to update the file, which is a very critical file, shadow file, which keeps the password. So the reason you do this here is you give the access here. It inherits the the owner's permission only when executing it. Okay, it doesn't have like a read-write access. A regular user doesn't have like a read-write access, but it could only execute it. So in other words, this password file is highly protected, but when it comes to executing it, only the users are allowed to run it when this S is set. Okay, so this is kind of a little bit complex or hard to understand. Okay, let's hyphen. Okay, so what I demonstrated so far is this is a special files, and it has a special permissions that allows the regular user to be able to run those files as a root or the owner of those files and be able to execute it. And then see this file has a permissions. um, let's see ls hyphen l etc shadow. Okay, look at the permissions here. Only the root has read write permissions, but we just wrote, when we change the password, we wrote it to that file. That means as a regular user, this file has a sticky bit set so that this command is executing it and it's allowing it to write to this file here. Okay, I'm pretty sure you guys are all confused here, but it's gonna take time to understand this here. You will not gonna be dealing with this a lot, believe me. You will be dealing it only like once in a while here. And there are run books set up here. When you go onto a job, they are like run books. They are like all the instructions set up and how you would be doing it. Once you get a good experience, you don't have to worry about it too much. But this is on the interview question. When you go into an interview here, this is gonna load. Okay, here one of this here is. Okay, number 29. Okay, so what is UID and GID? So UID inherits the owner's root permission when executing the file. Example, ping, we looked at the password. There are other files like that too. And then the GID is the group ID. Okay, so we looked at the GID, and then if you don't belong to that group here, you're not if you don't belong to that group manager, you won't have access to it. Okay, and then SUID is the sticky bit here. I demonstrated here that this is called SID, which it allows you to do the execution even though you are not a root user. Okay, this is another example. I'm using it here as a ping. When you type ping, P-I-N-G, google.com, okay, it's pinging, right? Let me see which ping. Okay, ping is sitting in where is it sitting in here? It's sitting in this folder here. So let's try to ping as a regular user. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the permissions. Okay, look at the permissions here. Others, they don't have read and write permissions. They don't have read and write and execute permission, but this one has read, write, and then sticky bit S. So what it means is this ping is a command. It's set for only the root, but at the same time, a regular user could be using this. That's all it means. Okay, this is just like you're not going to be dealing with it too much here, but you just have to understand the concept. So over here it says removing the ping access to regular user. Okay, let's take a look here. We could change this actually. I'm showing in here. You could use the chmod, this command, to remove the access to the regular user. By default, it has that access. Now, if I run this command here, ping is not going to work. See? But if I run the command here, ping google.com, since I'm a user, I will be able to run it. See? So this is sometimes you could use this as a security feature to deny access. It's working again. Isn't it amazing? Here with a few keystrokes, you could get a lot of things done. Okay? Let's see here, removing ping access. Regular users, losers, now logged in. Okay? Good. Okay, now there is a last one in here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to stop here at sticky bit. I'm not going to move forward. And then fackles here. I don't want to squeeze in anything. Okay, let's see if we could complete this. Okay, now there is another concept. It's called sticky bit. This concept is for folders. We dealt with this so far. UID, and this is also UID. This one and this one is UID. I'm showing you two different files here, password and ping. There are two concepts, GID and UID. Okay, so I demonstrated here that if you are not a part of that group, you won't have access to that folder, or you won't be able to create anything to it. And then set UID, you don't have full rights or read and write access to the file, but you still be able to execute it. For example, password and then ping files. Now what we have here is sticky bit. This is for the folders. So let's see here. Sticky bit. Okay, here. What is the significance of sticky bit? If the directory has sticky bit set, in that directory, only the owner of the file and the root user can delete the files. Okay, so let's see here. This is really good. So what we're gonna do is user can create file in the folder. Okay, by default, you see a temp folder, right? Temp folder is like temporary place where you could like put some files in there. Okay, so over here at the end here it says T. Okay, we have so far we have learned read write for users, read write execute for no, I'm sorry, read write for owners, read write execute for user, and read write, and then T. What T means is it applies for the whole folder here. That means that the user who is creating that file in there, only the root could delete it or the owner of the file could delete it. Okay, so let's see here. Amzac cd, I'm going into temp folder here, ls-l. There shouldn't be anything here, right? ls-l. Okay, let me just remove everything from here. Oh, shoot. Okay, there is nothing in this, and I'm using a Zach, and then I'm in a temp folder, right? So let me create some files here. Touch X. Okay, so what I did here is that I created some files in the temporary folder, and then it's sitting in there, and then the owner is Zach, and the group is develop. Okay, and then let's go ahead and PSS. Okay, now I'm going to create another session here. I'm going to log in as Chris, and then I go into temp folder and do ls-l, and then I see Zach files created by Zach here. So let me go ahead and create some files here. Okay, let's do Y. Okay, now you see there are some files created. These are the files created by Chris, and these are the files created by Zach. So what this the sticky bit does is you could only delete the files only you created. So let's try deleting these files here, rm, and let's try deleting it. Remove write protected file, yes. So what it says here is cannot remove file X operation not permitted, because Chris is not the owner of the file here. Okay, let's try to remove your own file, file Y, file Y1, and yeah, you are able to delete the file because you are the owner. Y1 is gone. Let's try from here again. Okay, and then let's try to delete Y2. So this Y2 is owned by Chris, but you're not the owner, but you're trying to remove it. Let's see if you're able to. Yes, and it says operation not permitted because you're not the owner. You didn't create that file here. But what about the root? Root root is a master. He could delete, remove anything he wants. See, the file is gone. Y2 is gone here. Is showing here. Let's do ls-l. Y2 is gone because only root can do remove the file from there, or the owner. So let's go back in here. What is the significance of sticky bit? If the directory has a sticky bit set, in that directory only the owner of the file and the root user can delete the file. Simple as that. If you are not owning it, you can't delete it. So let's go ahead and demonstrate how to really set a sticky bit temp other than temp file here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a file folder name stock, mkdir stocks, and then there is a Okay, so there is a folder named stocks, and these are the permissions. These are the default permissions. 755 is the default permissions for folder. What we're going to do is we're going to change the permission for stocks and give all access permission. Okay, all right, chmod 777. 777 means everybody has every access. Okay, and let's run the command there, and you see everybody has all access command. So this is very dangerous. You don't want to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to set stock sticky bit chmod and then O for others plus T. Sticky bit starts with the character T, stocks. And then we're going to run that command again. Do you see in here it changed to T? T means sticky bit is set in there. Now anybody could go in there and create a file in there, but only you if you create the file, only you could delete it. If you didn't create the file, you cannot delete that. So let's go in here. Let's go in there as Chris. I'm into the directory stocks, the one which has a sticky bit on it we just created. So as a Chris, I'm going to touch a file, touch file X, file 1. Okay, when you do ls-l, so Chris is the owner here. And then let's go in there as a Zach. And then you could touch a file there. Okay, let's go to stocks. So there is a file created by Chris. Okay, let's create a file here. Touch file 2. Okay, you see file 1 is created by Chris and file 2 is created by Zach. And then Zach doesn't want his file anymore. So what he's going to do is rm file 1. So he's making a mistake. He's trying to delete a file 2, but he's typing file 1. And then he says yes. An operation is not permitted because Zach didn't create that file. Okay, he could remove his own file, but you cannot remove the file created by others, even though you have permissions to read-write access permissions to the folder. But what is the root going to do? If you go into stocks, root is a super user, and he could just delete anything he wants. All the files created by Zach and Chris is gone. So what it means here is that the significance of sticky bit is that if the directory has sticky bit set, in that directory only the owner of the file or the root can delete it. Okay, that's about it. Any questions? You guys are still there? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we're still here.
Okay. Okay, so it says here faculties. I'm going to hold off on this here, and then there are some errors in here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit over the weekend until we meet next time, and then I would definitely recommend go through this files time and again. Keep going through this from top to bottom. If you have any questions, let me know. But the important thing is these two files here, basic command and VI editor. Keep doing that every day, and then practice others that are in here. Okay, any questions? Okay, should I wrap this up here? We have only 5 minutes left, so we're not gonna do much. Chris, what was your problem? Did you figure it out?
No, I didn't figure it out actually. I've got to reinstall the whole CentOS because after I upgraded to